As an RPA developer, we should be aware of what are the latest updates which are happening in the product. This video talks about the 2023.4 stable release updates in UiPath. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the next video in the UiPath update series where we are actually exploring the updates which we receive in the UiPath products. Prior to this video, we have already covered all these videos in the playlist. The important one is the UiPath 2022.10 update, which include data manager, global variables and constant. In case you are not aware of any of this, feel free to watch these videos. But in case you are new to the UiPath updates, I would request you to watch these two videos, which will give you more context about the 2023 update. The link to the playlist is available in the description. In this video, this would be our agenda where we would discuss all of these updates which are looking on the screen, such as search activities, property panels, live stream, data manager, individual refresh, save job execution recording, and the favorite sections. There are more updates to this release, but I would like to cover only this in this video. Okay, so let's get started with the first one, which is called the search activities. Okay, now with this update, now we would be able to search the activities even if the dependency is not already installed on my project. Sounds interesting? Let me quickly go to UiPath Studio and explain you this feature. Okay, so I am back in my UiPath Studio. I'll first go to the home and you can see that the version is 2023.4 Community Edition. Okay, I have a project which is open in front of me. If I go to the project, you would notice that I have got some dependencies which are available here. Right now, people who are experienced, you would understand that these are the dependencies which are responsible for providing me the activities here. Right, so for example, if I want to use Excel, I use UiPath.Excel. If I have to use, let's say, Word, I use UiPath.Word. For PDF and so on. Right, but now what is this search activities? So let's say I go here and I click on this button which says drop activity here. Here you will notice I do not have the PDF dependencies, but if I simply go here and I search PDF, now you are getting that all the options which are available for you to utilize in your solution. Which means that starting this release, we can explore and use the activities without the need of installing the package in advance. Okay, there are some prerequisites which you need to have before you go and use this feature. And the prerequisites are, first thing, your studio should be connected to the automation cloud. As you can see here, I am connected to my automation cloud. The second thing is this functionality is available only for cross-platform projects. If you see here in the dependencies, I am seeing something which is called cross-platform. So whenever we are creating a project, this functionality which I have just explained is available only for cross-platform. Now some of you might be thinking, how can I create a cross-platform project, right? All you have to do is just go to the home. Whenever you are creating a new process, here in the drop down, you have this option which says Windows, cross-platform and legacy. As soon as I select cross-platform, this means that now this project would be using the cross-platform. And this functionality of search, which was available here, this is only applicable to the cross-platform project and you should be connected to the cloud. Okay, so that was the first feature, which is called the search activities. Okay, coming back to my presentation. So that was about the search activities. The next feature, or I would say this as an enhancement, or I would say, reintroduce, which is show property panel for all activities. Okay, So if you are following UiPath releases for the past, in the latest or in the last couple of releases, what has happened, the property panel was missing from a lot of activities, and all of these properties were included in the activity itself. Some of you asked me the questions also that we are not seeing the properties because everything was embedded in the activity itself. But now again with this release, the property panel is back for all the activities. Okay, with the 2022.10 update, which you would see in the last video which I was showing in the beginning, there you would see that some of the activities did not have this property panel. UiPath received a lot of feedback from the community that this we need to reintroduce. So here in this update you would see that the reintroduction of the property panel. How that looks like and where that is, let's quickly go back to UiPath Studio and see that in action. Okay, so I am back in my UiPath Studio. Now if I simply go to the activities and let's take an activity called get asset, right? Now in the previous update, which was 2022.10, all these properties, the MISC, the output, everything was embedded in this activity only, right? We did not have this property panel and this was completely blank, right? After the feedback, now in this release, you would notice that all the properties panel are now backed, right? For some of the activities you might not see it, but for majority of the activities the property panel is back with the activities, right? So this is the update which we have got in the 2023.4 release. Moving ahead, the next feature is data manager sorting support, right? So let me quickly go back to my UiPath Studio and show that in action. In my UiPath Studio, I have got this data manager which we have explained in detail in 2022.10 video, right? Data manager is a single place to manage all your resources during the automation, such as variable, argument, connection. You can click on this data manager filter and you can add or remove more things, right? Now to understand this feature, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new sequence here and I'll call this, leave it as the sequence, and let me just hit create. Okay. Inside the sequence, let me just drag and drop an Excel application scope. Okay. So this is one scope here, right? Let's say I again create one more sequence here. In this sequence, I am calling this sequence, let's say this is a sequence which I have created, let's say for database. Okay. And after that, let's say I have something which is called open browser. Now let's go and try to create variables here. Okay. So in the previous video, we have seen that we can create bulk variables. If you guys don't remember, let me quickly show it to you. You just have to right click here and create on bulk create variables. Okay, let's try to create multiple variables. So first I have created one is for Excel. The second one is, let's say this is I am creating for Excel. This is the second variable for Excel. The third one I am, let's say, creating for the database DB1, right? This is not the correct practice, but this is just I want to show you the new update feature, right? So the second variable is for DB2. And let's say I want to create one variable which I simply want to create for browser. Okay. Now here in the sequence, this Excel one, I would say that this is for Excel application scope. This is for Excel application scope. So this thing you might also notice that now it is showing you in the proper way how does your workflow look, right? So this is also restricted to database. Let's say this one is for database and this one is for browser, right? So that is how you create multiple variables, and there is how the scope is now defined here, right? Pretty cool, right? So I'll simply go and close this. All these variables are created here. Now if I simply go to the variables panel here, you would notice that the same structure is now created in the variable panel also. So all the variables which are restricted to the Excel application scope are clubbed together into the Excel application scope, databases, open browser, and the one which says global, right? So I have a global variable which I have created. So that is where you see the global variable. Interesting, right? I can simply click on this button and I can sort it by A to Z, or you can simply sort it by Z to A. So this is an option which is available for you to actually go and sort this. Okay, so that was the data manager sorting option which was available. Okay, now this allows user to create custom rules on how to order the resources. To restore the sorting in the alphabetical order, you can simply click on the sort button, which I just showed, and this is the highlighted, and you can sort it alphabetically in the data manager, right? So data manager is a very powerful feature. You need to understand all this feature. Please watch the 2022.10 videos. And if you like this feature, just comment data manager sorting so that I understand that yes, you understood this feature. Okay. Moving next is the individual refresh. Okay. If you are coming from 2022.10, right, you might have noticed whenever we click on the refresh button, right, what was happening, there was a spinner, right? There was a refresh which was coming on top of all the resources, and I was not able to use because they were all in the read-only mode because it was getting refreshed. With this update, now when you are clicking on the refresh button, it is much faster and the interface is always available for us to use. Using the refresh button in the data manager now allows each category to be refreshed individually instead of blocking the complete interface. So if I just go back to the UiPath Studio and if I click on this button, which is the refresh button, you would notice that it is much faster and there is no interface blocking, right? So this is also introduced in the 2023.4 update. The next important feature which is available is called the save job execution recording. Right now, with this option, whenever your job is actually running in unattended mode and it got some exception, UiPath will automatically take the screenshot or it will record the videos and it would be available for you to investigate. Now, where does this option look and how does it look like? Let us quickly go to the orchestrators to see this option. So I am back into my orchestrator and I have this process which is called sample process with error. This has got some issues. Okay. Now to set up that option, you simply have to go to this option which is edit. Okay. And in the additional setting of the process, you would have this option enabled now, which is called the job recording. Okay, from here you can enable or disable the job recording. If you enable the job recording, you would be able to see the recording as the video or as the screenshot, right? Let me quickly set up it to screenshot and I say update. So now this process, sample process with error, whenever we are running this process and I get any exception, I would be able to see the screenshots, right? Let's see how does that happen. I go here and I say start a job. Okay. And I simply set start, right? This is a process which I have created that intentionally I have put some errors, right? So as you can see, the process has started running. Now what would happen? This was execute and eventually it will get failed. So I'll just wait for this automation to complete so that I can show you guys what that option looks like. Okay. The automation started and it has done something that this is a sample process. It tried to open some notepad and then I have intentionally closed the notepad. So it should get into the faulted mode. Okay. Now, as you can see here, the process went into the faulted mode. Okay. And it has ended also. Now, what is the benefit of the job recording? If I simply go and click on this button, which is this I button, and you would notice that these are all the details which you used to get previously also, that selector was not found and all these things. But here you would notice that you have got the screenshots. Now, if I simply click on this screenshot, you would notice that it is going to show you what was the state when the automation was running, right? As you can see that when I was running and it got faulted, these are all the screenshot which are captured and stored for you directly in the orchestrator. So you do not have to go and see the exception screenshot. Not only this, all these options can be in a form of video as well, which is a video recording enabled at this place. Okay, so if you simply go to the process and if you go here, click on edit. In the additional setting, this time I have selected the screenshot. Now if you simply go and update it to video, it will record the videos. You have an option, you want to do it for all the failed jobs or only for the faulted or all the jobs. You can customize this option here. You can update, and whenever this job is failing, now you will get a video recording as well. How cool is that? If you are really interested to try that thing, I have this dedicated video which is called the job recording in Orchestrator, where I have explained all these setup in details one by one, right? So in case you want to understand the prerequisite, how the video works, what are the settings, all of that is explained in this video, which is called job recording. The link to this video again you will get in the description, so feel free to explore this job recording options. Okay, so that was about the save job execution recording. You can record the video or you can record the screenshots as well, right? Pretty interesting, very good feature, right? Again, if you like this feature, let me know in the comments. Moving ahead, the next feature which we have got is the favorite section, which is available in your UiPath Assistant. Okay, now with the new update in the UiPath Assistant, you would be able to group the automation into something which is called the favorites, right? Same like you favorite your app, same like you favorite some tabs. Now you can favorite your assistant. Now you can favorite your automation in your UiPath Assistant. How you can do that? So for that, let me go back to my UiPath Assistant. Okay, so this is my UiPath Assistant. As you can see that I have just got this faulted process which we just triggered, right? Now if you see here in the home, I'll just close this. You have a section of favorites. Here you can add your favorite automations. How to do that? You simply have to go to any of the process and say add to favorites, and that automation will be now marked to favorites. To remove it, remove from the group, right? To add more process, simply go here and I say add to favorites, and that would be added here, right? So this is a new update which is available in the 2023.4 update. Moving ahead, the next option and a very powerful one is called the live streaming support over remote debugging. Okay, now this is a very interesting feature which simply means that in case any of your automation is running in an unattended mode, okay, and it has got some exception or unexpected pop-up, you can actually control the automation without logging into the actual unattended machine. So this feature is called live streaming over remote debugging. How does it look like? Let me quickly show a demo of it. Now here on the screen, what you are looking at is the two computers. The first computer is where the UiPath Orchestrator is working, and the second computer is an unattended computer or an unattended machine where the robot will actually execute, right? Now what is happening here is from the first computer we have triggered an automation, and as you can see the second computer, the automation is working. Now in the second computer you have got a message box and somebody has to click OK, because if somebody would not click OK, it will not work, right? So now if this is an actual unattended process, somebody would have to come into this machine, click on OK and then continue. But with this new feature of live streaming and remote, I can simply go to the orchestrator where the process is actually running, and I can see that yes, the automation is halted. I can go to the process and I have an option which says open the live stream. This is at the same place where we just saw the screenshot option. Now UiPath Orchestrator will remotely connect to that automation from your first computer, And not only this, you would be able to take the remote control. Now as you can see, the second computer is now visible on my Orchestrator. I can just take the remote control from my first computer and I can simply click OK on that button. Like that, I have taken the remote control. Right now, I will simply can select whatever action I take in the orchestrator, the same action will replicate on the actual unattended machine. All I have to do is just go and click OK on that message box from my orchestrator, and as you can see on the unattended machine, the automation worked perfectly. So that was a feature of live streaming support over remote debugging, right? Now this feature is particularly for troubleshooting and updating the automations which are running on production. This feature is supported for serverless robots, making it easier to monitor and manage the automation workflows. If you are interested in the live streaming and the remote control feature and you really want to explore this, you need to do some setup. You need to have an exe which is called Tide VNC installed on your computer. I have created this dedicated video which is called live streaming and remote control, which is a 12-minute video where you will get the complete understanding that what is live streaming and what are the setups required. The video which I was showing you from my this video only, right? So feel free to explore this video to get a gist of what exactly is live streaming and the remote control. Moving ahead, if you are interested to know more about the updates, I would request you to go to forum.uipath.com and read about the stable release. I have directly posted this link in my descriptions, so you guys can directly go to this page where you will find that there has been update which has happened on Studio, Robot, UI Automation, Activities, Test Suite, Document Understanding. Not only this, you can explore this feature, and if you find anything, you can always give your feedback to this post by just hitting this reply button. Okay. As an RPA developer, it is important for us to be aware of what is happening in the product. So that is where you need to understand this all activities. Expectation is not that you should be aware of each and everything, but at least at a high level, you should understand that where the product is moving ahead, right? Having said that, let's quickly recap. So today we have seen that how I can use the search activities, how the show property panel is now enabled for all the activities, what is live streaming and the remote debugging, data manager sorting support, individual refresh, how job execution recording can be worked in the debugging, and the favorite section of the assistant. There are more updates which are available in the forum post. The link you would get in the description. Okay, so with this, I would like to wrap this video here. Let me know in the comments your feedback about this video and which is the feature you like the most of this update. Okay, so with that, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.